Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Turn of Events, where we help put a positive spin on the future of your business. I'm Annette, the CEO and creative director of Naif Productions. We are a strategic event production company based in New York City and in the Florida area now. We specialize in corporate, social, nonprofit, and weddings. Have you been wondering how to use AI to grow your business? And all this talk about ChatGPT, we're going to talk about that with my next guest. I'm super excited. He's a dear, dear friend. And he's just got so much great. He's so smart on this stuff. So we're going to have a blast talking about this. I know a lot of people have been interested. I've been getting a lot of emails about it. First thing I want to say, though, if you are a wedding or event planner and you are interested in joining our Facebook group, we have a Facebook group called Event Planner Society. Come on over and join, just for wedding and event planners. I love my vendors, but it's only for wedding and event planners, talking about all kinds of things: how to get clients, what do you do when you get the client, how to price yourself, all kinds of great information. I'm also going to be doing a webinar into a coaching program, which is going to be fantastic. So many great things coming here in the summertime. So come on over, lots of collaborations, and we want you there, Event Planner Society. Okay, so my next guest, Joe Apfelbaum, dear, dear friend. He is the CEO of Ajax Union. Hold on one second. Sorry. CEO of Ajax Union, a B2B digital marketing agency. Joe is a business strategist, marketing expert, AI consultant, and certified Google trainer. He's also the author of 5 books, and his latest release is called High Energy Marketing. This man has more energy than everybody put together. When he's not motivating entrepreneurs at events and on LinkedIn, he enjoys his time with his 5 kids. And yes, he has 5 children. Joseph, how are you, my dear?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on the program. Really excited to be here and really excited to talk about all the things AI.
I know, me too. So why don't you talk a little bit about who you are, how you got started, a little bit about your business, and then we'll get right into it.
So growing up in my mother's store on the Lower East Side, I watched her try to grow a business, and eventually she went out of business. Her motto was, "You got to be lucky to be wealthy." And she tried her luck and it didn't work. And when I started my business, I was fortunate enough to build one of the fastest growing companies in America. Our marketing agency, Ajax Union, grew very quickly, and we featured number 178 on the Inc. 500. And people often ask me, "Joe, what did you do differently than your mother? Your mother tried for a decade. She couldn't get to the $1 million mark. You somehow got there very quickly and then doubled and doubled and doubled your business. What did you do?" I said, "I used a strategy. The right strategy will save you a decade." So my whole life was dedicated to figuring out strategies for success, strategies for marketing, strategies for networking, strategies for weight loss. I lost 100 pounds.
Yes.
Strategies for divorce. I got divorced.
You got
So
that down too.
all different ways to be able to live the life that you want to live. If you want to live a great life, you need a great strategy. And you need to find a way not to just be successful, but also to feel fulfilled in life. And so when I started my agency, it was all about search engine optimization, helping people succeed on search engines and get more visitors, more followers, more clients, and so on search engines. And since then, the world evolved. It changed a lot. Social media became all the rage, and people started using social media. So the platform that I gravitated towards to naturally, because I'm a networker, was LinkedIn. Sure, I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I have TikTok, I have Snapchat, I have Twitter. But the platform that really I was able to generate the most revenue from was LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the world's largest professional social network. And so I started a training company 3 years ago called Evergreen Networking, where we teach people how to get more conversations on LinkedIn. And since then, we've trained over 1,000 companies. We have a course, we have a coaching program, we have continuing education sessions, we train teams, and we train individuals, coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, sales professionals. And we teach people our 3-step process and how to be successful on LinkedIn. Now, come 2023, AI is all the rage.
Yep.
So last year, I spent hundreds of hours messing with tools like ChatGPT. This year, I'm messing with Google Bard and dozens of other tools to generate images, to do transcriptions. I created an AI avatar of myself. I created a clone of my own voice, and I even had an AI photographer do headshots of me. And so I'm using these tools for content. I'm using these tools for strategies. I'm using these tools for research. I'm using these tools for everything from business to buying real estate to having fun with my kids to writing music to telling stories to creating books and assets and to writing video scripts and all types of stuff. So I want to share some of the things that I've been teaching my clients in our new course, Evergreen AI, where we've trained hundreds of people on how to use these AI tools. We have a course, we have tutorials on the top 20 AI tools for business development. And then we have case studies where we walk our clients through how to use these AI tools. So that's a little bit about me. Started off trying to figure it out as a
Yeah.
web designer, eventually built a very successful business. And now I'm doing training and having fun doing it. And I'm also building software now on how to use, on assisting people to use LinkedIn with artificial intelligence.
Yeah. I'm super proud of you because I've watched you build this and go, and the key to success is also changing with the times and watching what's going on. And it's kind of, that pivot that they used to say during 2020 when we were in COVID. So I so admire you, and I think you're so amazing and you're super smart. So I'm very excited to talk about this because I myself am trying to get into this and learn how to do all this because it's all the rage. And I'm ramping up all my marketing as well. So let's jump in. What is the best way? What are the best ways to use AI to grow your business?
The best ways to use AI to grow your business is first figure out what's problems you want to solve in your business. Because AI can help you with customer service. AI can help you with client retention, with surveys. It can help you with lead generation. It can help you with all types of things. So first you have to decide, okay, if I was going to leverage AI to grow my business, how do I want AI to help me? Do I want AI to help me with marketing? Do I want to AI to help me with sales? Do I want AI to help me with recruiting? Sometimes you need to hire people to be able to grow your business. Maybe you're at capacity for yourself and you need to start building a team. So AI can help
Mhm.
you build a team. Maybe you need to offer new products and services. AI can help you create those products and services. As a matter of fact, my AI course was created by AI. and, and like I
That's
said,
fantastic.
yeah, within a week, 100 people bought the course. So I monetized AI with AI. It depends on what you want to achieve. I'm launching software. AI comes up with a name. AI comes up with a logo. AI designs the website. AI does all the stuff. So you can use AI to do everything for you. The question is, what do you need to be done first? But let's say you decided that you want to use AI to help you with LinkedIn. So the first thing that you would do is you would ask the AI to act as, and you tell the AI to act as, like, for example, a LinkedIn strategist, an expert LinkedIn strategist. So you give it the role, you tell it to be an expert, and then you ask the AI to tell you what to do. You tell them a little bit about yourself. Hi, my name is Annette Naif, and
I love the way you say my
I
name.
know, I know, I know. It's very Sephardic. It's very Sephardic.
It
And
is.
and what I do is I'm an event planner and I also train event planners. And you basically break down exactly what you do. I help people with weddings. I help people with corporate events. I live in Florida. I also help people in New York and blah, blah, blah. And you break it down and then you tell the AI, now give me ideas of how to use LinkedIn. And it basically will tell you what to do. It'll say
It's
use
amazing.
optimize your profile. Now it says optimize your profile. You could say, okay, act like an expert profile writer and write up my profile. You say include my headline, include an about section, make sure to mention my target market, use emojis, make it call to action friendly. And you basically tell it to break down everything in the format that you want it, and then it will basically do that for you. You're going to say create direct messaging scripts so I know what to message people when they connect with me. Create a calling script so when I call somebody, I know what to say. And you basically instruct the AI to do all the work for you. Now, you still have to know what to do, and there are
Right.
tools that will help you figure out what to do. And in our course, we break down all the tools. We give you the workbooks. We give you all the different prompts so that you can prompt the
Mhm.
AI properly. So the number one skill that you need to learn as a business owner, as a coach, a consultant, an entrepreneur, an event planner is called prompt engineering. It's like a language.
Mhm.
So I know how to speak Spanish. What language do you know how to speak in that?
English.
You know how to speak English. I know how to speak Spanish. Some people don't know how to speak English, and some people don't know how to speak Spanish. So when they try to communicate with you, you don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Same thing with the AI. If you're not you don't know prompt engineering, the AI won't know what you're talking about. You'll be like, make me breakfast. The AI will be like, I don't know how to make you breakfast. Or you ask the AI, what's the weather? And the AI is like, I'm not programmed to give you the weather. Go to Google for that.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to speak to it. You have to know its capabilities. You have to know how to prompt it. And the better you are at prompting the tool, whether it is to create text, whether it's to chat with it to create strategies, whether it's to create images, to create videos, to create presentations, to create websites, anything that you want to create with the tool, even if you want to create a mind map, you need to learn how to speak to it in a way that will understand what you're doing.
Okay.
Developers are now using AI to develop code, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Java, Python, Ruby on Rails. All that can be created using a prompt. So instead of being just an engineer, you're a prompt engineer. Now, it doesn't hurt to know how engineering works. It doesn't hurt to be an event planner, to know how to speak to AI like an event planner, because you know what to do. You say, create a checklist for the event, for before the event, for during the event, for after the event,
Mhm.
create an MC bio, create this, that, whatever, and it will create everything for you in a matter of seconds. And this way, you can have more fun doing what you love doing and get more work done with less money. But you have to learn prompt engineering.
Right. So to start though, where do they go to get the chat, like your chat GPT? How would you get that?
So there are lots of different tools that tie into the GPT, the OpenAI API. So OpenAI is the company, the organization that created ChatGPT. ChatGPT is one of their products. They have many different products. They have an image generation tool called Dolly. They have lots of tools. And there are a lot of companies that are tapping into their API and creating their own interface for the chat. So my recommendation is go to openai.com and go look at all the different products and services they have on there. One of them is called ChatGPT. So if you go to chat.openai.com, you can register for ChatGPT and you can go in there, get a free account. I personally pay $20 a month and I have a plus account.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to use an alternative chatbot, there are many different chatbots available now. There's one called Google Bard, Bard. So if you go to bard.google.com, you can sign up for the wait list. I got approved pretty quickly. And you can start chatting with the Google version using Lambda instead of GPT. It's using a different language model, but it's the same NLP technology that uses prompt engineering. And the better you are at prompt engineering, the better the results are going to come out.
Right. So what's Bard?
Google Bard is the same thing as ChatGPT. It's a chat bot that you can talk to
Okay.
and you can have a conversation with it. If you go into Snapchat right now, you can chat with an AI right in Snapchat. You can
Mm,
literally every single technology is going to have AI. If you go to Bing, new.bing.com, you can talk to Bing like it's a chat bot. You
okay.
can literally have conversations with them and say, "Hey, my name is Joe Apfelbaum, the CEO of Ajax Union. I'd like you to create a cover letter for me. I'd like you to create a website for me. I'd like you to tell me the best ways to launch a business. Tell me the best ways to create a new product and service. Here's what I currently offer." And it will literally tell you and have conversations with you. Do research on psychedelics. It'll give you all the research on psychedelics. So you can do a lot of fun. You can have a lot of fun with it. You can learn about different industries.
Right.
Now, when I speak to a new client, I have a new client that just contacted me that he has a certain type of alcohol called arak, AR.
Mhm.
I don't know if you ever tasted arak, but it's a very, very particular type of alcohol that's not very popular here, but it's very popular in the Middle East. It's
Mhm.
a very premium bottle of arak. Now, I don't know anything about arak, but guess who does know? AI. So I went in there and I did research. In just a few minutes, I was able to pull all the facts and figures and compare it to all the different types of alcohols and all the popular arak companies out there, and I was able to pull it all while I'm talking to the client. Within 10 minutes, I was able to blow the client's mind. And the client's like, "How do you know so much about my industry? I don't know any of this stuff. I know the background information on it. I know how it first started. I like have all this information prepared to me in
That's amazing.
seconds." And it just blew his mind. And he's like, "If you know how to use these tools, I want to hire you."
Yeah.
Marketers are not going to be replaced by AI. Marketers are going to be replaced by marketers that know how to use AI.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing. So where does AI get all the information?
There's 175 billion parameters that it has built into it. So they collect information from places like Wikipedia. They get information from books. They can get information from the internet, from research papers. They were able to compile a ridiculous amount of information and put it into their database. And then they use very specific models to be able to quickly understand and create neural networks between everything out there. So the information is basically information that's available, but it stopped in 2001. The information that OpenAI has. Google has real-time information. So if you ask Google the weather, it knows the weather and it'll tell you the weather. But if you ask ChatGPT the weather, it's going to say, I don't know the weather because I'm not connected to the internet.
Right. Okay. So interesting. This is amazing. So what changed in 2022 that AI became so popular, like
So
ChatGPT?
So GPT was available for a while. They started the process in 2016. So they had the
Mhm.
first version, then they had the second version. Then in 2022, they came out with the third version. And then when they came out with 3.5 in November was the first time that it was actually a chatbot that remembered what you said to it before. Before you would make a request, it would answer you. But then the next request that you made to it, it didn't know what you asked it before.
Mm,
Now, what happened was they created a chatbot where you talk to it and it remembered what you said at the beginning of the conversation and it answered and it reasoned with you like a human being. Like if I'm talking to you and I asked you a question, you would have a callback to what I said earlier in the conversation.
right.
AI didn't know how to do that until November of 2022 when they released ChatGPT for the first time. Now, this technology existed for a decade. It existed for a long time, but it wasn't available at this level of speed and this level of scale. It
Mhm.
used to be that only big tech companies had access to this type of information. But now, like when you call Bank of America and you talk to it and it says, "What do you want?" and you say,
Yeah.
"Operator, operator, operator," because you're
Representative.
yeah, you can say
Like,
other things and it will understand you, and it's basically artificial intelligence knowing what you want and
yeah,
trying to figure out how to route you to the best department or whatever it is.
right.
But now you have 100 million people using this at the same time.
It's
At
amazing.
scale and you get instant answers. That type of technology was only available when Microsoft made its Azure technology available to OpenAI, and they invested $1 billion into this. They invested so much money into this and they gave them so much infrastructure that it made this possible. Before that, it wasn't possible. It was only possible for really big companies. And it's the resources that it takes is crazy. But
Right.
as more and more people use it, the cost comes down significantly. So they were charging for 1,000 words of their best model called Da Vinci. They have different AI models. They have Ada, they have Da Vinci, they have a bunch of models. For
Mhm.
their best model, they were charging 2 cents, 2 pennies for every 1,000 words that it generated for you. So if it
Mhm.
generated 1,000 words through the API, they would charge 2 pennies. When they came out with the next version, the cost went down by 10x.
Mm,
Now it's a tenth of 2 cents to come out with 1,000 words. So if you're writing a 1,000-word article, it used to cost 2 cents using 3.5, GPT 3.5.
yeah.
Now, or using GPT-3. Now, with the latest version, it costs 10 times less. So the price of AI, the price of generated content with AI, the more people that use it, the less it'll go down.
Right.
The more intelligent it'll become, and the price will go down, 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 down to where it's just basically free. It's just like, it's
Yeah.
you can generate vast amounts of information because once you have the ball rolling, it doesn't cost much extra to just add another a billion people to use it. So
Right.
that's the idea, and that's how things are gonna be implemented into your toaster oven, where your toaster oven will be able to start talking back to you.
Oh my god. Okay. Um, so you had mentioned that you have a paid version. What's the difference between getting it for free and have the paid version?
So sometimes there's too many people using it at the same time, and they kind of say, "Sorry, too many people are using it, come back
Ah,
later." So if you ever got that, it means you're not paying for it. They reserve a certain amount of seats for the people that pay $20 a month. It's called
o
ChatGPT Plus.
okay.
And also, the results come back 10 times faster. So when you
Okay.
ask for the request, you're it's gonna start typing it real slow, and it's doing that on purpose, and you can only give it one request at a time so that it kind of doesn't take up all the resources of the AI,
Okay.
so it responds in a small way. When I do it and I'm paying $20 a month, I get an instant result. For me, it just kinda, like, appears really quickly, and I also have access to their latest version called GPT-4, which is much more intelligent than GPT 3.5 that's available for free. So
Okay.
I have extra perks. So number 1, I get availability when nobody else does.
Yeah.
Number 2 is I get higher speeds, and number 3 is I get access to a model that most people are not don't have access to, which is more intelligent.
Okay. Great, great, great. What does GPT stand for?
GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Generative means it's generating information that was never generated before, so it's generative. When you ask it to make an image of Joe Apfelbaum at the Western Wall to celebrate Israeli Independence Day, it just does it. It knows what I look like. I trained it on a model. It's generative. It created it from scratch. When I tell it create a poem about Joe Apfelbaum eating tuna fish while he's flying with a raccoon on his back. It'll do that. It was never existed before. It's generative. Pre-trained means that it's trained on a specific set of rules. So if you ask it some things that are unethical or that are political or whatever it is, it's skewed a certain way. It's using a certain model. So it's not going to allow you to do things. And we're not going to get into all the things that it doesn't allow you to do here because we're going to go off the deep end. And later you can privately ask me all the things that I tried to make it do.
I will, you know I will.
And so that's the idea. The idea is it's pre-trained to keep it safe. And
Mhm.
that's why a lot of big companies haven't launched this yet, because really you can do some dangerous things with it. And then the last thing is transformer. It means it's able to transform the inputs into actual real language. So it speaks actually 200 different languages, and it can learn a language very quickly. You could just feed it a language and it'll teach itself the language. So they're training it to speak over 1,000 languages. And so this AI is just so powerful. I can translate into any language. I can give it input, any programming language, any human language. And so the transformer is very powerful. Google is actually the one that introduced OpenAI to the whole transformer concept. They had it back in the day. I think he gave it to them in 2017, and it kind of revolutionized this whole thing. So that's what GPT stands for, generative pre-trained transformer, and now you understand what it means.
Yes. So speaking of Google, do they allow AI generated content to rank with SEO?
So if you look at the Google blog, the Google Webmaster Central blog, a few weeks ago, they actually issued a article that this is a very popular question. Everybody's like wondering if AI created the content, will Google penalize me for using AI content? I highly recommend going back and looking at that blog post. I actually put it as a screenshot. I posted it twice as a LinkedIn post. So if you go to
Mhm.
joelinkedin.com, you look at my content, you'll find it there. They
What's it
actually said,
called? What's
um,
it called?
if you just look for it's the Google blog. It's the it's called the Google Developers blog, where they
Okay.
talk about the development and SEO and all that other stuff. So if you look
Okay.
at the Google Developers blog, or you go to my LinkedIn post, you'll find it there as one of the articles that I published.
Okay.
Essentially what they said was that they will rank AI generated content just like they rank regular content, but they're not going to judge the content based on who created it or how it was generated. They're going to judge the content based on the quality and the value that it adds. So
Okay.
if the AI generated content adds as much value as human generated content, it's going to respect that and make it rank number one, even if it's AI generated, because at the end of the day, it's about the value that you add to humans, not about who created it, not about the author. They don't care who the author is. So they literally write that there. And so since then, people are generating tons and tons of AI generated content. Now, there are tools, paraphrasing tools that you can use that will convert AI generated content to sound more human like, because a lot of times it doesn't sound human like when you're creating it. And
Yeah.
so you could use tools to paraphrase it and it'll work just fine. What I like to do is I like to create AI generated content, then go in there and add my own 2 cents in between
Yeah, I
each
think you should
paragraph.
everyone should put their own touch on it, their own voice and all of
Change
that.
the
Yeah.
hook, change the call to
Right.
action,
Mhm.
so instead of it taking me like, 45 minutes to write an article, it'll take me about 30 seconds to have ChatGPT write the article, then I take it and spend 10 minutes editing it and publish it and boom. So I just save myself half an hour or 45 minutes,
Oh,
to
at least, right? So I know when I used to write blogs, I have people that do that for me now, but it took, research and thinking, and I'm a perfectionist, so it's got to be just right. So it would take me a while to do it, but we just did one. We tested it on AI and just came up with something and posted something. It was unbelievable. I didn't even change anything. I
crazy.
read it. It's exactly what I would have written. I cannot believe it.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
just amazing.
It's so
It's a game
powerful.
changer for sure. I would definitely pay $20 a month, probably more, but I don't wanna say that because then they'll increase the price. But, for sure to have the speed, the ability to, like, really, work fast because that's all we wanna do these days.
100%.
All right. So, what specific examples of ways to use AI for image generation can you share?
Well, the first thing you wanna do is you wanna decide to pick your platform. There's many different platforms available. The one that I like the best right now is called Midjourney, MID Journey. The reason I
Mhm.
like that one is because it produces really, really high quality images. I've created over 200 pieces of art using the tool, and you can put it on a tool like Printify and actually sell it on Etsy or sell it on a Shopify website, and they'll print it on demand. So
Wow, that's
yeah,
amazing.
it's really, really powerful, and the images, you have to learn prompt engineering. You have to learn how to speak to it.
Right.
So if you want to create a particular piece of content or a particular image, we have a 14-minute tutorial on how to use Midjourney. You can't use it directly on their website. You have to use a tool called Discord, and you have to learn how to use Discord in order to be able to use Midjourney. But there's other tools like Dolly. If you go to labs.openai.com, you could use Dolly. You can use Canva. Canva has AI image generation
Oh,
with
it does. Yeah,
built into
we
it.
use Canva a lot in my industry.
Yep. So we have a tutorial in our course on how to use Canva, AI generated images. You could use Runway ML. You could use Stability AI's Dream Studio. There's lots of different tools, and we have tutorials on every single tool I just mentioned inside our course. But the number one tip I would give you is do research on the best type of prompts for that particular image generation tool, because every image generation tool will have different ways of taking in input. You might think about the lighting, you might think about the camera, you might think about the style or the aesthetics,
Right.
you might think about the painter that you wanted to copy. And some people think that's unethical. But at the end of the day, every painter took inspiration from somewhere else. And
Right.
so I want you to consider that using AI image generation is all about using prompts and also training the AI on how to be able to produce the image. Like, you got to talk to it in a very specific way. You can even give the AI an image and tell it, create me an image that looks like this image, but also has these words. So I can put a picture of myself and say, make me into a Disney character. It'll make me into a Disney character. Then I can clone my voice and tell it to say whatever I want. Then I can take the image, put it into an image animator tool, and it'll take and we have a tutorial on how to do this. The image animator tool, I can upload my voice to it that was created by AI, and now it starts moving and the image starts talking.
That's
And the I can create a Pixar looking image of me that's actually talking, that looks like me, and that's actually speaking and moving its head around and blinking his eyes and doing all that
yeah.
stuff. Amazing.
So it just makes me worry though, the negative side to this. So let's just say somebody did that and created something that looks just like me, sounds like me, and I'm doing something bad and it's out there, or I could be like, there's a whole nother side of this that I think people might be afraid of. What are your thoughts on that? And do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of
Like,
course. There's
like I was robbing a bank or something. Like,
100%. People are always gonna be afraid of the negative impact of AI, and
yeah,
as a result of it, some of people won't even use it for the positive stuff of it.
right.
Well, when smartphones came in, everyone's like, "Oh, I don't wanna use smartphones." Why? Because smartphones are addictive. Of course,
Yeah,
smartphones are addictive, so turn it off, have discipline.
yeah,
No, they're dangerous, they can track every step I make, I'm not gonna use it. When Easy Pass came out, my mother was afraid of it because then the government knows every time you're going to Manhattan. I'm like, "Ma, who cares? Who
yeah,
cares if the government knows that you're going to Manhattan?" She's like, "I don't want them to know every time I go and I come. I don't want them to know where I am." I'm like,
yeah,
"They already know where you are. They
yeah,
have facial recognition videos. They know everything about you. They know every time you sneeze, who you're with." With cell phones, they know everything. And so some people still don't use cell phones to today.
right.
I'm not afraid of AI. I'm embracing AI. I'm leveraging it. I'm using it for my business. Can you be afraid of it? Yes. So you can also be afraid of computers. You could also be afraid of cybersecurity criminals. You could be afraid of murderers. You could be afraid of squirrels that have rabies. You can be afraid of so many different things. But at the end of the day, the way that you protect yourself is by learning how to leverage it and
Yeah,
by understanding how people can leverage it and then using it yourself to see how you can protect yourself. I actually called up my employees and I told them, if I ever call you up from my phone number and I give you instructions to transfer money or to do something or whatever it is, I want you to ask me the following questions to see if I know the answers of these questions that only they would have the answer to.
awesome. Yeah,
And so, if I was going to hit you up, Annette, and I called you up in the middle of the night and you picked up and I asked you to do me a favor, I would want to ask you what podcast you saw me on when we originally met.
yeah.
Who was that guy? And if you can't tell me who that guy was, then you're not real. You're
I
not
can't believe you remember that because that was like 100 years ago. Thank God that, he introduced us and,
He's
such
such
a
a sweetheart. Yeah.
yeah, such a great and we've been dear friends for so long now. And then, COVID hit and we didn't get to see each other as much, but hopefully we can do that again
Yeah.
soon. All right. So, good prompts versus bad prompts. Can you give us some examples? I know you did a little bit in the beginning, but let's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
narrow it down a little bit.
A bad prompt is a very generic prompt that says, "Write a blog post," with
Right.
no additional information. So anytime you give the chat saying, "I need a," you just tell it, "I need a resume." The AI is gonna figure out how to answer you, but it's not gonna give you a good it's not gonna help you. It's
Right.
not gonna help you in any way. You're gonna be like, "Write a great post." For what platform? Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
If you want to be successful with prompting, you need to give it a role. You need to tell it its level of expertise within that role. You need to give it specific constraints for what to include and what not to include. And you need to give it as much detail as possible
Mhm.
around the topic and your style of writing that you want, and the voice and the tone and any background information that it can use. If
Great.
you give it all that, the likelihood of it being successful and producing a great piece of content or a great strategy for you or a great response is going to be very, very high. So, even just considering the role, considering its level of expertise, considering your goal, considering the tone, the voice, giving it background information, telling it what you want it to accomplish and why you're doing this and what platform it's for, and including several constraints, and also what format to give it to you in. You know, you
Right.
want it in a table? Do you want it in a bullet point list? Do you want it in this way and that way? Do you want it to be HTML friendly? Do you want it to include keywords? So, however you want it to create, whatever you want it to create, give it constraints, give it a role, give it a goal, give it a tone, and you're much more likely to be successful. And we have a whole AI prompt guide on our website. If you go to evergreen.com and you click on the AI section, we have resources, we have a course. If you go to newaicourse.com, NEWAI course.com, you can find out more information about our AI course. And like I said, we have a book with over 1,000 different prompts that we give you when you sign up.
Awesome. 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 Okay. So, how do you know that the information is true? Does AI lie?
AI lies all the time. They call it hallucinations. It can hallucinate. It doesn't even need to take mushrooms, Annette. Although it can take mushrooms, but images of mushrooms. It's not gonna hallucinate. You can ask it to hallucinate if you want, and it'll behave. I asked it to act like a drunken sailor and start
Yeah,
responding like it was completely drunk, and it was so funny the way it was responding. It
that's
really behaved like it was a drunken sailor. But yes, it will lie, it will make things up, it will sound authoritative. So one of the things that we teach in our course is how to validate information. So one of the ways to validate information is to ask it for its background information. Where did you get this? What are your sources? Things like that. And there are very specific prompts that can help you be able to achieve that. And that's the idea.
okay.
So there's lots of different ways. You know, basic prompts are between 3 and 7 words. You could use multiple adjectives. When you're creating images, for example, you can ask it to create things in a certain style, or you can ask it to use specific types of computer graphics like Octane render, cycles, Unreal Engine, ray tracing. You can also tell it what quality you want. You want it low quality, medium quality, you want it 8K, 4K. And you could also make sure not to use banned words because the AI is not going to be able to produce well if you're using banned words. So you could just say a squirrel, or you could say a squirrel in a tree eating a nut. You know, like
Yeah.
you can get really, really specific. And,
Yeah.
you know, using concrete words is always better than using abstract words like hope, dream, fantasy, success, progressive, but you could use words like that.
You're
Uh,
right.
you know, it's just very interesting to see what happens when you're using expressive words versus concrete words.
Right. 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 So, you may have mentioned this already, but what's a great source to learn more about AI?
Well, if you go to newaicourse.com, we have a really great course, and we also have free prompt book and things like that that you can download. Um, you know, that's a great resource. We also have webinars that we host on a regular basis where we talk about AI. You know, the key is keep it simple, be specific, use
Yeah.
adjectives, include details, use examples, and things like that. That
Right.
can make it really helpful.
Okay, so we have a few questions actually that came in, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. Um, okay, so Mike wants to know what are some Chat GPT alternatives if I can't get in?
If you can't get in, you can use a tool like copy.ai, and there are hundreds of tools. There's another
Oh,
one
can I
called,
ask first, what does he mean by if I can't get in? What does that
okay,
mean?
if you're not paying for it, sometimes it doesn't allow you to get in. It tells you to
Okay.
wait.
Okay.
But if you use copy.ai or if you use Write Sonic, those are tools, or jasper.com, Jasper.
Okay.
There's lots of different tools available out there that you can use. You could also use Google Bard, bard.google.com. And you could also use a ChatGPT playground. So if you go to platform.openai.com instead of chat.openai.com, then you can access the backend API and you can tell it to act like chat and it'll act like chat. And this way you could just pay for it using their API. And they have a playground that gives you a certain amount of free credits. So there are ways to work a workaround to it, or you can use different tools that use their API.
Okay, great, great. Um, so what type of tools are you building with AI?
So I'm building a tool called Evy AI, EVYAI.com, and that tool allows you to download a Chrome extension and it lets you do 6 things on LinkedIn. Number 1, it allows you to leave comments on people's posts on LinkedIn, so it'll generate a comment automatically. Number 2 is it'll allow you to write content on LinkedIn, so you just tell it what you want it to write about and it'll write a nice LinkedIn post, and you just push a button and it goes right into LinkedIn and you can post it. Number
Mhm,
3 is it'll optimize your profile. It'll, like, redo your about section and make it really tight and beautiful.
mhm.
Number 4 is it'll send connection note requests. So if you wanna connect with somebody, it'll create a custom connection note. Number 5 is it'll reply to direct messages. So if you go to direct message, somebody messages you, you're not sure how to reply, you press create a direct message, and it'll create one for you based on what the person said last. And the last thing is it'll help you leave recommendations. So, for example, if you want to leave a recommendation for somebody and you don't know what to write about, you click leave a recommendation and it'll write up a whole beautiful recommendation. So you can start leaving recommendations for your connections, and this way they'll leave you really nice recommendations as well. So those are the 6 things it can do.
That's amazing. My only question is, or concern maybe, is how does this will this be compatible with LinkedIn? Is LinkedIn gonna be, like, pissed off that we use this sort of tool?
Well, we're not automating LinkedIn. We're just using AI to read the content and suggest things that you can use. So
Ah,
you'll just push a button, it'll add it to LinkedIn, but it's not automatically going to be using LinkedIn on your behalf.
okay.
LinkedIn does get upset when you're using LinkedIn automatically. It's against their terms and conditions.
Right.
They are coming up with a solution called AutoGPTleads.com. And AutoGPTleads.com is going to be a tool that logs into LinkedIn for you and does connections and all that automatically. And that's not for everybody. That's only people that want to take the risk of, using a tool like that.
Yeah.
But Evy AI is a very clean tool. It doesn't automate anything on LinkedIn. It just helps you as your assistant to tell you what to say on LinkedIn each time.
Okay. Okay, good. Alright, so Jeff asks, "How do you automate AI to work with other apps?"
The way that you use AI to work with other apps is using a tool called Zapier. I'm sure you heard of Zapier.
Mhm,
There's
mhm.
another tool called make.com, make.com. They both integrate with ChatGPT. And so, for example, if you want to create a Twitter bot that will automatically respond to people's tweets, you can connect ChatGPT's API to Twitter, and using make.com or Zapier, it'll look at your Twitter account every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, every hour, and it'll respond to anything that's out there. You can have it automatically generate tweets, and you can create a randomizer, and we're using prompts. It'll automatically generate a tweet, and it'll post it to Twitter, and then it'll respond to people that respond to that tweet, and so on. So that's an example of a tool that you can use to help you automate ChatGPT in a way that it can integrate with any of your stuff. So you can create a bot, you can create whatever they have over 6,000 different integrations, so
Mhm.
you can have it check your email for a particular email address and have ChatGPT. Let's say, for example, your ex messages you nasty messages every day. You can have Zapier or Make.com log into Gmail, find that email from her, make a response, and send it in a very nice and formal tone.
Yeah. I just saw I think it was on, um, oh gosh, what's it called? A Shark Tank, and
Oh,
there was a girl who's created something that goes over your, text messages that if you're about to send a bad text message to somebody, it will alert you and say, "Are you sure you wanna say this? Are you sure you want this tone?" It's kind of clever, but, it keeps from getting kids in trouble. It's mostly for like high school and all of that, like kids in school, but I thought it was very clever. Okay. So Steve asks, what are the dangers of using AI in your business?
Dangers of using AI in your business is that you might post invalid information, representing your business.
Yeah.
The other danger is to just generic content that doesn't really have much value. So you don't want to be able to, just write generic. You want to customize it. The other thing is that it doesn't have your voice. Sometimes you'll post something and it just doesn't have any voice. It's kind of just like information that's very
Yeah.
generic and robotic.
Right.
So I would say those are the biggest dangers, putting misinformation, putting information that doesn't have your voice, or putting information that's way too generic that doesn't add value. So, but if you use it smartly, use it as your assistant, use it as kind of like augmented reality, that it's helping you take things to the next level. Not
Right.
just the main dish, but it's the salt and pepper you put on the potatoes that help you take things to the next level.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So we're coming down to the end here. What is your personal workflow with AI? Like, which tools do you use the most?
Well, I use Otter to transcribe. I love
Otter.
I love using Otter. I use ChatGPT as my chatbot, and I use Bard as well. I use Synthesia for AI avatar creation. I use Copy.ai and Jasper to help me create really, really great content. I use a tool called Tome to create presentations, Tome.app. Those are the main tools that I'm using right now. I'm also using Canva a lot. I'm using Looka, Looka, to create logos and branding, with just a few clicks of a button.
Wow.
So I use that quite a bit. I actually created a logo today on Looka.com, and I'm using it for one of my tools. I also use Runway ML quite a bit. Runway ML helps me be able to create images in my likeness, because it modeled after me, and I created a model for me. And I also use 11 Labs and DID. One of them is a voice cloning tool. So those are essentially the tools that I use the most.
Yeah, that's a lot, and I'm sure people are overwhelmed with all of those. But the most important thing is just get started, take the tips that, Joe has shared here with, getting in the chat GPT going and just start, playing around with it. And I think, it's such an amazing tool. I'm very excited about it. And I'm so happy that you shared all this information.
Well, I'm really glad that I shared the information. If you guys want more information, you could always hit me up, joelinkedin.com. I'm doing speaking engagements for EO groups, Vistage groups, and YPO groups. I'm also doing presentations for marketing firms. So if you have a marketing firm with more than 5 employees and you want to hire me to train your team, I'm happy to do that. I've been training many marketing agencies. And if you're an individual, a consultant, or somebody that wants to learn how to use AI, if you go to newaicourse.com, you can find out more information. Or if you want to find me, you can go to joelinkedin.com. That's JOE LinkedIn.com. And you can find my profile. My cell phone number is in my about section. Feel free to WhatsApp me. Thank you, Annette, for having me. This was
You're
exciting. I'm so
amazing.
glad that I
Thank
did
you
it.
so much. And you guys have to learn from how he, like he actually taught me how to change my LinkedIn to AnnetteLinkedIn.com. It's super easy to do. Thank you so much, my dear. I so appreciate everything about you, our friendship, everything. You're so smart and you're always there for me. And Joe is the most amazing networker on the planet. He introduces people to me all the time. I'm actually connecting with the last person you sent me to, which is Tatiana. We're meeting this week, and it could be something really big for both of us. So,
Yay.
I mean, you do the most amazing things for people. You're always there, and I just so appreciate you. And thank you so much for your time because I know you're super busy.
All right. Thank you. We'll talk
All
soon.
right. All
Bye.
right, you guys. I'll see you next week. Actually, not next week because I have a big wedding this next week. We're very excited about. We're going to be in North Carolina for a wedding next week, but we'll be back again the following week. Thank you so much for joining us. If you missed any of this, go back and listen because it's so much great information. And let us know how it's going. And if you have any more questions, join us in the chat and we'll jump in and answer them for you. And if you are a wedding or event planner and you want to get into our Facebook group, come on over to Event Planner Society. Love to have you. All right. Talk to you guys later. Take care.